15-minute public comment period at the beginning of every meeting where the board will entertain comment from the public on any agenda item. Questions and comments from the public are not permitted during the course of the meeting. To address the board, those wishing to comment shall list their name and addresses on a list provided before the commencement of the meeting. All comments or inquiries are to be addressed to the board through the board president, written, submitted through the business office of the department during the meeting. All electronic devices be silenced. Is that clear? Okay. All right, I have a list of names here that wish to speak.
These two people no longer wish to speak.
Which,
is that correct, Bill? Okay.
Who's that?
The last two people on this list, Mike Jordan and Margaret Stewart, no longer wish to speak.
And the first person filled out her name.
Right.
She did not. She said she wasn't desiring to speak.
Oh, because you don't want to speak?
But she filled out the sheet anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're good.
All right, we're good to go. Okay.
Bill was able to resolve the other issue.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Good. Oh, well, Bill on board.
Well, it was a billing issue that
Yeah.
he was able to resolve.
Okay.
There's a mistake in the bill, and what they're going to do is they're just going to amend the bill.
Yeah.
It's a clerical error.
Yeah, that was all.
All right. So it was Al's fault, huh?
No, absolutely not. No.
Of course.
Not at all. No, it was just,
Okay.
Who isn't here?
it was under the guise of sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting?
No problem.
No problem?
I'll second.
All right. Bob and Dennis? Okay. Bills and accounts?
Good.
Everything's going.
All righty.
Make motion.
Ray, now. Okay. Request of,
No,
all right.
that's withdrawn.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Bill
Hoover
resolved
Lake
that.
Dam, Hoover Lake Dam project?
Yep, we had the divers in there last week. We were there 5 days in total. A couple more days than we wanted to be. The goal was to do a dry inspection of the intake tower because that was one of the outstanding issues that we hadn't been able to accomplish, to look at the intake tower. And so we did some further demolition in there to be able to gain access. And then we put the divers in. They actually found the lower intake. That was the low level intake. We found that. That was something that we kind of thought we knew where it was. The good news was we were looking in the wrong place. We thought it went this way. It was actually straight out. It was not silted in any way, shape, or form. It was just sitting right there. We just weren't in the right neighborhood. Anyway, we found those. We were able, with a little difficulty, to get the right size plug and plug them from the outside. So we were able to isolate the tower, and we began pumping it down. Well, before we were able to isolate the tower, we wanted to make sure the plugs stayed nice and steady. The plugs were holding. So we had tied some ribbon onto the pipes as they came into the tower. And the diver went down to see if they were fluttering in the current. And they weren't. And he wanted to do something else when he was down there, and so he said, could you just crack the valve a little bit so I get a little circulation so I can see? And his tool bag got sucked down the pipe.
Oh, boy.
Well, it was interesting.
To retrieve it, it took some doing.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It took a little MacGyver to get it out.
Got sucked down.
The outlet pipe. It went in and around the corner and stopped. Because it had a 3-pound sledge, 15 welding rods, and 21st crowbar. So it was heavy. So it went.
Oh.
Now we can't. It's on rope. We can't go any farther. Okay. So anyway.
Beautiful.
We MacGyvered it. They got a couple of pieces of number 3 rebar, a little bendy, welded it together, made a hook out of it, set it in, back a little bit, because you got the lips in the pipe, you got to
Right.
send the tool out, cut it down. Anyway, it took about 5 hours. We got it out. So long story short, then we began to pump down the well house to see if we could do the dry inspection. And we can't,
Too much coming in?
because there's a construction joint, elevation 1190. And there's one of his size fists, bigger than my fist. Hole in it, and it's moving at about 180 gallons a minute. So, we're going to have to do the remediation, we're going to have to abandon that structure. So that makes half the decisions you have to make pretty rudimentary.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was what we accomplished. We will not be paying for all that dive time, because losing the bag of the pipe and retrieving it was not part of the contract. But anyway, it was pretty pumping. The good news is the emergency pump, the pumping went really well. And the bypass pumping, that went fairly well. We know it takes about 4 hours to set up a bypass pump. And with the pump we had, we could do 2.8 million. But with 2 pumps or a bigger pump, we could probably do 4 with no problem. And if something happens in conveyance or whatever. So that was good to know. The good news is nothing that we did in all the time they were up there was lost time, effort, or money. Because it all has to be done to remediate that structure, to retire it before we build it in. So we may have done it at the end of the project as opposed to the beginning of the project, but nothing was wasted. So
that bottom line, was that actually drawing the water in?
no. Oh yes, it was.
Okay.
It was open,
Okay.
but it was against a closed valve
Closed valve in
at
the...
the total dam. That's
Oh,
plug
okay.
now. We have plug that. So there's an internal plug.
That wouldn't come in and fill up the tower?
We plugged it first.
No.
It was done.
So we're only drawing water from the upper 2
Yes.
inlets?
So we put the screens back, we cleaned the screens, put them back. That up the flows in the plant probably 250,000 gallons a day, so we got to adjust the flows and stuff. But we cleaned all the screens and we're good to go until we get to the next phase. That's it.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to have to build a new tower, a new outfall structure, because while we were hoping that we were able to reutilize that, there's no sense taking a 120-year-old structure, building something that's going to last for another 100 years, and having that be structurally not sufficient. Structurally it was sufficient, but with a construction joint like that, there's no way you can plug the construction joint because you have to do it from the outside,
So that's
and the walls are 2 feet thick.
an extra million
Yeah.
core.
That was $1 million fine, but, because the construction cost differential was $1 million, it was worth the time and the effort to
Yeah.
rule in and rule out and do what we had to do.
Yep.
That was that.
Cool. Okay. Then we got the Phase 1B filter renovation project.
Yeah, did everybody get the letter from C.M. Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The recommendation is to rebid this project as they've indicated. Clearly, our bid was higher by $700,000 than the engineering estimate. Jim, Bill, Tom, and myself had a conference call to discuss this. And Jim, jump in here if there's anything you want to add. But the first question I asked Tom was, how comfortable are you with your construction estimate? And he said they were very comfortable with it, but they hadn't attached a number to the structural column just because it was at the end and they just hadn't done that. But the structural column work should not be the delta that we're looking at. So I think we discussed it and we agreed that, you know, the prudent thing to do would be to pull out the structural elements of the bid and do them as, you know, a deletable item, in the new bid. The other thing that, and Al noticed this, was on the bid form, it was clearly stated that mobilization costs could not exceed 2.5% of the total contract. And they did, right? That figure would have been in the $60,000 range, and their mobilization costs are $91,000. So that in and of itself would be grounds for rebidding the project. I talked to them as late as yesterday. I talked to Gary, and he was unaware of the error that his estimator made. Wasn't too pleased about it, but he assumed that we were going to rebid it, and he said he would be willing to sit with Tom and talk about some value engineering on the structural estimates of the columns. He said they have some ideas to achieve, he believes, the same goal in a little more cost-effective manner. And the reason they put the big dollar number, he said he estimated that column work to be over $250,000, because he said of everything in the way. You have to cut the catwalk out of the way. And all. He said he thinks they have a better solution that would achieve the same structural end. So I said, it's really not appropriate to discuss it with me, but by all means have John, Gary's guy, talk to Tom about it. And it's not, and if we could actually incorporate, we could approach that in two ways. We could either, after we get rebid and we have an award, we could do that as a change order, or I said now, if Tom agrees that it's, you know, a good solution, he can incorporate that right in the specs, and change the specs.
So what was the structural work that needed to be done?
The columns, the column work in there, structurally, actually, you're talking about the flood doors could be considered structural, and the manways, the blocking the manholes, the flood control work there. So those three items. There might have been a couple other structural things.
The columns, too.
Columns were the big one.
The columns deteriorated 10 years ago, and we wanted to do it. So it's something that's been discussed 10 years ago that has to be addressed.
Doesn't have to be done right now.
No, but it makes sense. It makes sense to do it in the next 5 years if we're doing.
Would that work out of the total bid of almost 2.5 million?
Gary told me he put in a figure of about $250,000 for
So
that.
1/10 of the project of what his bid was. It was just for the structural work.
Right. You know, there's a couple other items they could, you know. He said there was another item in order. One of the other things he flagged, in addition to the catwalk, was 2 of the filter cabinets would have to be. Some of the controls. If you open up the filter cabinet with all the relays and things we have in there with the electrically actuated valves, it looks like something out of the space shuttle. At least it does to me. And 2 of those on each end would have to be moved as well. And so the electrician alone was scared of that. His electrician's estimator that he went to. So there was a lot of hidden costs in that column work that we weren't aware of. And this is only based on one contractor's bid. You know, hopefully we'll go out, we'll get 3 or 4 other bidders, and we'll see how that shakes out. Everybody shares his opinion.
Where do we stand with that
Apprentice.
apprentice intern?
I don't know.
I called the city's corporation council, and I explained to him that the apprenticeship program, especially the way that it's currently enacted, is pushing the costs up on our contracts. And I asked him how the city is using that with respect to their contracts. He said he wanted to look into that. He really wasn't that familiar with the apprenticeship program. But I asked him, I said, I would be hoping to request the council for a waiver of the application of that statute to this project, and maybe even a waiver in total to the water department. And he said he wanted to look over the paperwork and see what it was he could get back to me. And I do have to discuss it with him further. I really don't know how to proceed with it. I think that, I wish our council liaison would be here. I'd like to have asked him about it, see what his approach would be, but I want to do it jointly between the council and the mayor and the corporation council. I don't want it to seem like we're asking one as opposed to the other. You understand?
So we really have to wait for that decision before we go out for rebid.
Well,
Because we don't know.
that's right, and we also agree, Tom, one other thing that I should tell you is he's gonna be ready in about another week with the tank project. And so we'll be out to bid on that. That work's likely, so he's gonna work on that now. He's gonna wait a little bit and get this revision done, hopefully, and incorporate that in the bid documents, and so it'll be a little bit before we go out on that, and that's fine. The thing we have to do tonight is you have to reject that bid if you want to accept that recommendation. That's the only thing we really, would you agree?
I agree. Going back to the other, I don't think the council is, I know the corporation council is not, I don't think they're aware of the import of that resolution that was passed. I don't think they knew the effect it would have on pushing the prices for bidding on construction projects so high. And it really is of no benefit that I can see to the residents.
And this is a complicated project, but there are very few trades involved. You know, the sequencing of the work in terms of, you know, what filters we can take offline and what we have to keep on, that's a little, you know, tricky. But the actual work really involves only a couple of trades at all. And it's not the, you know, it's just not. And then the state isn't accepting any more applications for non-union contractors to, at least that was my understanding from your conversation and my conversation with three of the other bidders wanted to apply and participate in the program because that was a condition that we stipulated. And they weren't allowed to even file the application. So.
But the resolution that they have, the city adopted, in effect precludes a number of people from bidding on the project, which avoids the competitive bidding benefit of having items go out to bid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the original estimate was around 1.7?
1.8, 1.7, 1.8, but he was very upfront and did not include a number for the column work. Because we kind of added that on. We didn't, but he said he never expected it to be that much, but. And that's why we agreed to do that as kind of assuming that you agree, as a deletable add deduct item.
How does this affect the money we're getting at all?
It shouldn't. The one thing, Al contacted them to see if there was any possibility of getting more money. And that's not a possibility.
Okay, but we're not going to lose money. There's not a time frame about...
When
I don't
we
believe
apply.
so. No.
Right, the only, the time frame is just to get the proper resolutions in place.
Which we've done.
Okay, I mean, that, the grant and no zero interest loan doesn't have a time frame that we have to, or we have already taken that money.
We haven't closed on it.
No, it doesn't close until next month.
Okay, so we can close on that money.
Correct.
They give it to us, we put it,
Nope.
No.
they hold on to it.
It's
Okay.
done,
They
it's
parse it
done
out.
by disbursement
Right.
as expended.
Okay, so they hold that money aside for us out of
Yes.
that pot of money they have up at the EFC.
Correct.
Just the way they do all the EFC loans.
Okay, but I
Just
guess
the
my
same way.
concern is that,
No.
I mean, it's kind of guaranteed to us at this point in time, and if we
Right.
don't get to it
Now,
another year or so, it's still...
if we languish for a long time, they're going to knock on our door and say,
What's going
hey,
on?
we're going to reprogram that money. But now, did you speak to Carly? Did we get the resolution that we need?
I have not.
You have not
had a chance
connected
to,
with her? Okay.
Speak to her, no.
Okay. Anyway, I'll follow up on that.
So you need a motion to reject the bid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Dennis, second by Bob, that we reject the bid.
For the reasons stated in C.D.
Yeah.
Smith's letter as of April 30th, 2015. Al, you have a copy of this, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do expect that Arnold's going to talk to Tom about,
John Dowley from his office, yes, it will, I think he's already had a conversation with him. He called, and I said, John, I really am not at liberty to speak to you about this. I really can't talk to you, you know. But as I say, you know, I spent the last 30 hours with the company, on Savannah Street.
Okay? All right, we'll move on to the CSX Main relining project.
Well, I don't want to fix anything by telling you it's done, but the liner is in, and we're just waiting on the bacterial test on Main. I expect that to be good. We had I took the sample myself and brought it up to the lab. Came in this morning about 5:30 to get that done because they had some. Anyway, the sample didn't collect until 9, but that's okay. It was a good chlorine residual. They did everything the way they were supposed to do, and I don't anticipate any problems. We have pumps going 24/7. There's 2 of them. There's one on the bottom of Wine Coop Place, just opposite what would be Mahar School driveway, not blocking the church parking lot for the Church of the Comforter. And there's one 9/10 of the way up the hill.
They're going hydrant to hydrant?
Well, yeah, we went from we had a cross connect through a pump, the gravity system and the high pressure system. So we had to, because of the lift, we needed the 2 pumps. We tried with one and tried out and didn't really work. The second pump is where it has to be, but there's a neighbor up there that's not too happy about it. The pump's running outside his window all day. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, the police and I had to go visit him the other night. He was starting to do damage to the pump.
so how much of that main did we actually line then?
We lined from just outside the pump station, right there on the corner, right by the lace factory, right on the intersection of South Manor and Cornell.
Mm-hmm.
And we went over 15 feet up Savannah.
Okay. So not a lot, really.
No, but it's a portion under the tracks.
Right.
The good news was we know we have a brand new valve on the upstream end. So the big fear is if that line ever broke because of the trains, and I gotta tell you, there had to be 40 trains that came through there. In that 24-hour period that we were out there, 30-hour period we were out there. I mean, they just come barreling through there. We have lost two other train crossings. We did those in the fall, and if that line ever went, now we can valve it off. But the problem with that before was how do we get the water into the tank and keep water going in the Benedictine? Now we know that the pumping system works, and we could have a pump on here in a couple hours before the tank.
And we could pump, you mean, on one of the other streets?
On one loop.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple, you could do it also, we chose Wine Coop for the obvious reason, it's cobblestone street, it's one
Right,
way and nobody
yeah.
uses it. And there's not many houses there, so you can run that 6-inch pipe, the flexible hose up from hydrant to hydrant, not bother anybody. But, we could also do it on Pine Grove and Mary's, there's a couple other places we could do it if we had to. So, one of the things we'll probably do is look for, down the road maybe, more permanent locations.
So hopefully you'll have the back results tomorrow?
What?
Back results will be back.
9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I went up and Andy was wet and he set it right up, you know, he had everything all ready to go. So, yes, we should, first thing in the morning, we should be able to turn those pumps off. What we are doing to kind of try to, well, to try to, we pump the tank up and we try to let it float off the system. We try to turn the pumps off at midnight every night, at least the one up the top by his house. And we normally, that's what our pumps do. They pump it up to 36 feet, and then it floats down to 31, and the pumps come on, and it has that 5-foot swing every day. So, you know, we probably had it up to, at about 38 feet last night at about 10:30. Shut the pumps down, and the guys came in about 6 o'clock, turned them back on. So, you know, we're sympathetic. It's just
Okay. Move on to the Sauk Hill Road transmission main repair
Do
project.
you have that in your,
Yeah.
I'll finish that spreadsheet and then let it
Yeah.
go. The only outstanding items on that are, they came in a little bit below my estimate, but I mean, not enough to get happy about. We still, there's 2 valves we still need to put in it, that we have, that we just, because of the weather and the conditions, and we just didn't do. But we really should get those 2 transmission main valves in there as well.
What was it, 175?
247 maybe.
247.
I thought it
I've
was
seen
gonna
it, no, I had
be,
it.
I thought it was gonna be, you know,
No, I had it.
up 253. Yes.
Looks like that, right?
It's a small,
Yeah.
here, you have one.
Well, I had it.
I know,
saw
it's
it.
probably just, you know,
It's in here
it's
somewhere.
in there someplace, I can never find it. on
Okay.
the-
Yeah,
It was a one-pager.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
that was $250,000. We already own it, we already bought it. The 18-inch valve is probably $5,000. The 12-inch valve, probably 2 or 3. We have everything, that's already, that cost is in those costs. It's the labor, because we want to work with the contractor to do that. It's, you know, by the time, we're kind of, it's just, it's specialty work, and it's also, when we're turning valves, you can't be doing both at the same time. It's really up there in Jockey Hill that we really need to put those in.
So we gotta pay for it.
We do, I mean, I'll talk to Ricky, maybe, you know, we could work it out, we can do it, but I'll talk to him again. You know, Al wants to get in there and get them done, but
Yeah.
we may do them ourselves, we'll see. We'll look at that and see what the feasibility of doing that is.
I mean, our work would be in addition to, his cost would be, we're not saving any money.
Yeah, but we're talking, it's like a debt. We do the shutdown, they come in, they just have the equipment that we don't have to make that work. It's
Now, where do we stand about, we talked last meeting about sleeving those,
lining.
lining those,
I'm waiting on Mr. Larios.
right?
Yes. I saw him yesterday, and he said, I have some ideas. And he wants to talk to you, talk together about that. And I said, just let me know when, and we'll set up time. Originally, he had an idea that after he thought about his initial idea and learned more about how our plant operates, he realizes it's not such a hot idea. It's not really going to work for us. But he's got some other things he wants to propose.
How many crossings do we actually have, other ones?
I want to tell you 3. I believe we have 3, but I can look at the map again. They're all clean and cement lined, the mains from the plant all the way down to Bittywater, and then from Bittywater into town. I mean, they're done. This one wasn't done. This one they stopped on this side of the creek and they picked it up on the other side of the creek because you can't line through a bend, and there's bending. the product that they use today, you can line through, you could line through at 22, you can't do a 45, but you can do a 22.5 degree bend. And I think that's what we have there. Anything, he didn't see anything there that, because they TV'd it when we had the break. And they went 100 feet in one direction, 30 feet in the other, up the shore, up the bank. And there was nothing there that would preclude a liner at that point, they didn't think. So. And that has structural integrity to it. That's just not a, because the main on Savannah Street wasn't leaking. We did it as a precautionary measure.
Well, you're there and do it.
Before it breaks.
Yeah, sure.
And there's a little more flexibility in that in terms of resiliency and hoop strength as opposed to a cast iron main.
Plus the friction factor.
Yeah, but that was all, when they cleaned it, and they took the cement lining, you saw it come right out, and it was in good condition, but it needed to come out to make that adhere.
The cement lining on this Stefan Street.
Yeah, it had been lined under the tracks, but, and it looked like, the pieces that could there have been voids there? Sure. But they were, when they took that hydro back and they took that out, boy, there were chunks like that, just nice thin pieces of concrete veneer coming right out. Because one of the guys there said, "What is that?" I said, "That's the cement lining that they put in 25 years, 30 years ago, or 40 years ago." So, but the cement gives you no structural, doesn't give you any structural integrity.
Okay, do we have to pay this now? You got a bill for this, or?
Yes.
That's what you want to address?
Well, you paid those bills.
We already paid.
These are
Last month.
We didn't pay all of them last month. You paid the big one this month. 181,000 is in your packet, I believe, right, Al?
Yes.
So I guess the question I would have,
Was for who? Harold?
Aaron,
Yes.
I guess the question I would have is, we're going to need to give Al authorization to take that money out of capital. It might not be this month, you might not need, but it might be. So,
Actually, no, I have not yet paid that bill.
Yeah.
you didn't, that's not processed yet?
No,
I thought we had.
because it's not,
monthly.
it's not in this month's, it's not in May.
Well,
It was a 191 for
There was the large,
CDM, I think,
the,
right?
correct,
The
it was
Schnabel.
Schnabel. There was a large bill paid to Schnabel.
I thought for sure that I signed it, but evidently I didn't.
I was hoping that
Schnabel's up right
was
off the page.
I was hoping that was paid.
I,
That's a bad,
It should be,
we want our,
they're looking for the money, because we've had the voucher for a bit.
that's what our year-to-date deficit is.
That's how I had the conversation with Garrett.
It's about,
Right.
$1 million. $250,000.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Dennis, that deficit is really something that happens every year.
Yeah, I
By
understand,
June,
but
it's a cash flow issue.
It's just cyclical.
It's really not, we're certainly on target with the budget. It's just that the money comes in uniformly every month, every quarter, and
we got some big bills.
it's a lot of our bond payments are in the beginning, and Al staggered them as much as we can. But we have a lot of expenses in the very beginning of the year, and then not so much at the end. And
So out of that 247,000, we still have to pay at least 181.
yeah,
And Town of Ulster, your
we paid that bill.
state building.
Yeah, just like we'd have to bill them. And there was the opportunity cost there, when we had them shut off, what we would have made, and then what they had to charge us. And I believe he charged us he charged us what we charged them,
yes,
but he had,
96.90.
right. But the first thing he had to do was make sure that covered his expenses. And it did. And it wasn't much you know.
But it also, we lost revenue when we shut
Correct.
them off.
Correct,
So-
that's the opportunity
And
cost.
that's on your sheet also.
Right.
If you pull, if you have to pull this $250,000 out of capital, you need to pull the $30,000 of lack of income that we would have had from town Ulster in order to maintain the books?
Well, unless we had some other allowances that didn't occur in our operating expenses, which sometimes does occur. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes, we project some expenses and find that they're less than projected.
Or we don't buy something that we had
Or-
budgeted to buy.
Correct.
Well, there's 20,000 that is
Correct.
not on the agenda that I can tell you about, because we have to discuss the emergency action plan, the engineering assessment for Binney Water and Reservoir 2, and I estimated those to be about 50 apiece, and at least Binney Water is 31, so there's 20,000 right there that I aired on, and certainly the engineering costs will come from me, they don't come from out.
And you said, how much, 35,000 equals 1%?
Yes. Well, now it's getting closer to 40,000.
Right,
Keep talking.
we got that budget creep going on.
Stop talking.
So if we just wanted to,
Don't stop.
It actually, is our budgeted water sales for this year are $4 million. So 1% is
so
40,000.
if we just for our bill, we're talking like 4.5%.
It's fixed anyway.
Yes, it is, 4 days.
And the other stuff can maybe somehow absorb in our budget as we go along.
I think, but there's gonna come a point at which we're gonna have to transfer that money to cover the
Or
bill.
or we'll find money someplace.
I'd like to find that kind of money. I don't think so, but yeah,
Under the rug somewhere.
yeah, well, maybe we'll buy a lottery.
You have to have some money.
He's gonna
an
need money.
authors- Yeah, but you need some authorization to,
I do.
Yes, he
I
does.
need the board to
Yes.
authorize any transfer from the capital account.
And what, you'd be looking to transfer the whole amount of that, or part of it?
Well, I would be looking to transfer up to the whole amount
That's
as needed.
Yeah, he's, because, and then we
And
can pay
certainly
that
I
bill.
wouldn't transfer anything until it got to the point where I knew that we weren't going to make our bills.
Yeah.
And certainly you have to pay your expenses here anyway.
Yes,
Right, and
As
we
far as
want,
pulling for ourselves, so leave it there until you need it.
yes, right.
I'd like to make sure we get Harold's bill paid as soon as we can.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll make that motion.
All right,
Okay.
Ray makes the motion and we
Second.
transfer, second by Al. Carried. All righty.
Moving right along.
All righty. We have any correspondence?
We do, we have I got an email that I think I included it in everybody's packet. It's a young man who I think lives on Ray Street,
Oh, yes. I read that.
and he's in a chemistry program at Oswego. And, and needs 80 hours, for part of his coursework, he needs 80 hours in the lab. And since he's paying for these credits, he doesn't need to be compensated. He's just wanting to know if he could work with us for up to only 80 hours, which is really only
2
we did-
weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he would probably do it a couple hours over the course of the summer, that's fine. And so, you know.
How do you handle that? Is it similar to,
It-
like we picked up summer help there a couple of times? I mean,
Well-
paperwork wise, is liabilities involved?
Well,
We're not
for-
compensated, we wouldn't see liability, but, I mean, you would have to sign a paper, acknowledging that he's a guest on the premises and be careful.
We actually, and that could, I'm sure, but we had the intern from Ulster County. If it's, from what I understand from their, we have to get the certificate of insurance, which we did. But because it's part of their coursework, it's not, they're not in the employee status. It's an extension of their classroom. So, and we kind of, Bill and I, he brought me up to speed on that when we had. And I think they're gonna ask us to have another one. They're expanding the internship into their non-credit program because their water and wastewater operator classes at Ulster are non-credit. I mean, they're not matriculated, they don't get an associate's degree. And they've just started to do that. And we were the first one last year, and they were very pleased with, she gets, the person we had actually got hours toward her license, because you have to have, a year's worth of experience. And we, especially for a returning, an older student, you think this is what you want to do, maybe it isn't what you want to do until you actually go and you work there. And so it's kind of a valuable experience for them. She worked out very well, and I'm sure this young man will as well.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we have worked, if we wanted to hire a summer of help, I mean, next year I'd like to talk to the board about doing that. I mean, we've got some things we need to do that really, we just don't have the staff for it anymore. But in this case, I wouldn't want to mix this up. I think he already has a regular job. And I think we'd just like to keep this as an intern. No? I don't know. All right.
I don't believe so.
Okay. There was a life, he was working at the pool.
He's been, the last 3 years he's worked there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But he might not be there again.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think he's looking to do an internship.
It says here, he doesn't want, he says,
Says it doesn't have to be compensated.
I do not expect to receive any compensation for my time. I just.
We don't have a whole lot of extra money to be paying anybody anyway,
No.
or anything other, any additional work.
But
That's for sure.
we have some projects that we could use some help on with that, but we'll move that on.
Concern, intern from community college, we pay them?
No,
No.
it's part of the coursework.
Yeah.
No, we did not.
All right.
The intern we had was interesting. She was a clinical psychologist. She's looking to switch careers.
Well, this is just important that he gets this.
No, and it was for her too. She,
Yeah,
we,
it's part of the course, and he's,
no, I think, and Andy could, the good news about us is that we're 24/7 operations, so we can work this into his schedule. We can get it. They usually come with a form that you have to fill out.
Let's say probably some kind of log, right?
Right, and then he has to write some, well, at Ulster, they have to write some sort of paper, and then they have a log of time in and time out. It was basically given the time sheet every week. It was really pretty easy. And I had to sign the evaluation.
And you don't need a motion on it, do you?
There's one other thing that is not on the agenda, and that's the engineering assessment. We have engineering assessments on Cooper Lake, Cooper Lake, on Binney Water and Reservoir 2.
Did we get a copy?
No, because I just got it this morning, so
Oh, okay.
don't even look for it.
oh, okay.
31,000. I went to Schnabel to do it because they've been doing all of our dam work. You got one? You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim, you want to look at that? Anyway, with the new dam safety regulations, just like, the work that we're doing, going to be doing in Cooper Lake, this evaluation has to be done. Has to be done by a licensed professional engineering firm with a specialty in dams. We did actually get a proposal from a couple years ago to do this work from Arcadis. This is slightly less expensive than what they proposed. Bottom line is, as I just indicated, I budgeted about $50,000 for this work based on that previous estimate, and Greg came in at $31,000. It's a lump sum for that work, and he believes he can have it done by the August 19th, 2015 deadline.
That's for both of them.
No, that's just for Binney Water. he and Jim and I and Bill need to have a conversation about Reservoir 2, about what we want to do there. We have some options. And just before we come to the board and get everybody all confused, we need to make sure that, we agree operationally and engineering and legally what we're going to do there.
Yeah, see, as you said, rehab or remedial work,
On Reservoir 2?
breaching, or, there's all different options. There's
Yeah.
three to four options.
Right, there's a few options.
Common,
And this
every
is,
dam. One
yeah.
of them's breaching, one of them's dam removal, one of them's fixing,
right.
so that's.
So there's a few things that we need to discuss before we come and bring you all the options. We're not, we don't, Jim and I, and none of us have had a chance to discuss this. And, but, since we're fine, the DEC is on board with what we're doing in terms of,
Do they want,
huh?
they want it?
Well, that's one of the options we need to discuss. That, we gotta explore that further, because it did express some interest in that.
Yeah.
And, but bidding waters and reservoir, we obviously we need it,
Yeah.
and we need to do it, so
Yeah.
we agreed that, I'd ask you to move forward on that and get that one done. A lot of the work, we've already done when we built the UV building. And we put the low-level outlet in there. So in terms of the budget, this puts us about 20,000 ahead of our engineering estimate there. I think it was 97 we put in there for both those activities. I think one was, I looked at the budget and it was 50 and one was 47. No, I think it's about 97. So this is slightly less than that.
So you need this,
Need a motion to proceed if, with that work. To say it is budgeted.
I'll make the motion to proceed with this.
All right, motion by Al, Bob, or Bob rather, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Quiet here,
Second,
I'll say.
Greg.
Ray.
Better than the house.
Okay. Superintendent report.
Yeah.
Anybody have a problem with the superintendent report?
I have a question.
Yeah.
The system-wide leak detection that began,
Yep.
the leaks they're finding,
Yep.
are they distribution or service lines?
Both. Cleared up a couple, we were out there, we were there with them this afternoon, that's why I didn't have time to go home and change it. I'm gonna tell you 4 service leaks that were pretty good. One of which is, downtown at 80 pounds of pressure. And there's probably 2 main leaks that I found.
So the service ones, we tell the
Right.
owner,
Yep,
water user, they have a leak and they have to fix it.
right. And there's one service that I know is running that we'll have to get in there and shut off.
How
The
far?
service leaks are obviously prior to the meter, which is water that flows.
Because, otherwise they'd be in here screaming, my bill, my bill, my bill. Yes, absolutely they are. We were out on Broadway and Downs this afternoon, and we thought, he identified something out there. And we correlated it, but because the Central Hudson has a propensity of, we're previously disturbed soil, we're down 4 or 5 feet, and they're much shallower. Well, they come right in on top of us, because it's easy digging. So they're very close to us, so it's very hard to detect what's theirs and what's ours, especially when you have a high-pressure gas main, because the noise just sounds like a leak. So we eliminated a couple of them because of that. That, you know, we got on the key and you listened, and there's no leak there. On our line, it's definitely the gas line that's sending up the vibration. And the same thing with the city siphon line, the sewer line downtown. They have a force main down there that's very close to us. And it, well, you know, well, the guy said, "Can you shut it down?" I said, "It's a siphon line." I don't think so. I don't think the city's willing to let everyone's toilet uptown back up.
Even the siphon line makes that much noise?
It's really close to us. Yeah. So anyway, but he's gonna be. I think he's in the town of Ulster today.
So they have more work to do yet then?
Well, they have a little bit more to finalize for us. They're almost done with us, and they're just starting out in town. Not that that impacts us. It's just that the town was able to take advantage of our pricing. Leak detection, you know, you get a better price than more miles you do.
So they really didn't find all that much.
No, they did not.
So the amount of
I'm
savings,
very disappointed, yes.
the amount of savings we're going to.
I don't know yet.
In regards to gallons per day.
I don't know yet. I'll let you know, because I mean, I you can't, some of his estimates, I asked him how he did it, because just by experience, he was, you know, but we'll start putting holes down. There's a lot, he found a lot of hydrants. Well, he pointed out that we need to go back and re-educate a lot of our staff on how to shut down hydrants. Because if you don't open or close a hydrant fully, they will power waste. And they will power waste at 11 gallons a minute. I mean, that's just how they're built.
So what do they waste to? Just
The ground. And so,
We call them bottom, right?
yeah, and it's pretty small, but it'll go 11 gallons a minute. When you get 900 hydrants, if you get a couple hundred of them, that adds up. So we have several hydrants that, you know, probably 4 dozen hydrants that guys went out there. Sure enough, they're not closed. For some of our younger or newer employees, we just need to have a little class on go slow. Come back, double check it, kind of thing. So that was a good lesson.
Yeah. So we don't know how much.
We haven't started to dig yet. I mean, I'll be honest, Ricky, the week he was here, we got a lot of loose ends tied up today because Ricky was out with the flu for the whole week.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that.
We were up to Cooper Lake and Mike was with me, so we haven't had time to put down a lot of holes yet.
No, but we don't know how much we're losing. See,
So we haven't quantified anything.
He hasn't.
No, we haven't been able to do that. We've identified them. Ricky started calling them in this afternoon before he left to underground. So over the next 2 weeks, before the next board meeting, I should have an idea of exactly how much leakage we had.
I had another, on your April water production.
Yep.
It looks like we're increasing. And we
Flows?
usually have about, yeah,
Yeah, we are. Flows are going up. I don't know why.
oh,
I thought it was leak detection. I thought it was leaks.
yeah. Okay, because
We're out there looking, creating havoc with the filters.
yeah, it looks like it's significant.
They're such poor condition that, because that project has been delayed, we really need to get that done. It's making life out there the staff is amazing what they're able to do given the conditions. That's all I want to say about that.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job.
That just hit me, I looked at it.
No, been that way for 2
around
months.
3.8 or something like
Been like
that.
that for 2 months.
Yeah. We don't know what that is yet.
We're looking every
Do you
day.
think we can filter?
No, it's after the compliance.
Something,
After the compliance. No, no, no.
okay.
Where's the reservoir condition? The level of the reservoir right now, I'm trying to find it on the internet.
Which
Oh.
one? Cooper?
Overdue.
Probably 328 today, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I think it said 207 days out there or something
Yeah,
like
that,
that.
yeah.
Someplace.
Yeah,
88%. The elevator's 88%. It's right here.
Yep.
Okay. Page 3.
it's there.
Good.
And today, it's about the same?
I don't know.
Um,
I haven't talked to Derek all day today.
We haven't got any significant rainfall.
No, we have not.
So I can't imagine.
We have not. We're still taking water from the college.
Okay.
Water's still coming in. A lot of the snowpack sublimated. New York's dealing with the same thing.
This IDEX Corporation,
Yep.
Ranger, what are we doing with
That's,
that?
it's a new, well, not new. New to us. It's a new method to analyze coliform bacteria. It's a biochemical test as opposed to actually growing the bugs, so it's quicker. It's probably less expensive. Well, we haven't done the cost benefit on it yet. It's much less labor intensive. So it would free up Andy and Jeremy to focus more on other water quality issues. But they came in, they did a 2-day demonstration. This is what it basically held a class for us. We would have to amend our certification with ELAB, New York State Health Department ELAB, and become certified in that methodology. We get certified in different methodologies. So we're certified for 2 different methods to do coliform analysis. This would be a 3rd. And this morning, I just got the cost estimate on the materials. So, Andy and I are still working on that. We're going to do a kind of a cost benefit analysis on that, taking in the labor into account. There's an enumeration where you can find out exactly what drugs you got. We don't have a call to do a lot of that, and there's a shelf life on this material, so it's probably not something that we're going to take on those instances where if we needed that information. There's other labs in the area that are geared up. It would pay us to have them do it as opposed to doing it ourselves. But it just is. We're probably the only state certified coliform, bacteriological lab that isn't doing this to some extent. And it was because
Consideration of getting rid of our lab and just contracting with,
we looked at that.
Yeah.
We can look at that during doing this, when we're doing that.
okay,
You'd lose the income.
yeah,
Wouldn't lose personnel because we need to do the work, and the limitation would be like today. We've never allowed the contractor to take this. We've always wanted to take the samples on these veins, because I have seen in the past where contractors, not the one we used, but contractors might fudge the results.
no, I think we would still need to collect samples.
Correct. So-
Take it to,
If things had gone according to schedule, I was prepared to take that sample at 4 o'clock in the morning so that we could get those pumps turned off and everything back in as quickly as possible. You start using, you're going to be constrained to 9 to 3. We could do it, but it's just something we got to think about.
I mean, we have DEP's right here,
They won't do outside samples.
they will, even
No,
if
they
you talk to
won't.
them and,
I have.
yeah, okay.
It's a liability issue for them. And it's also an issue of staff time. They're pretty much flat out with their own stuff. What they will do, if you have an emergency, man, they'll make their resources available to you, no questions, they're very good about that. But I actually talked to Steve as late as last month. Steve Schindler about that? So they have no, that was talked about, was it, that we're-
It just seems a shame you're, got a probably full function, obviously a full functioning lab, bigger than anything. Yeah.
They have more capability in that lab than the EPA has in Cincinnati, or at least as much capability as the EPA water lab in Cincinnati has. It's amazing what they can do over there.
Who's that?
DEP over there.
We're here in Smith Valley.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's more PhDs working in that lab over there. It's amazing what they do. And I would agree, if they would make their stuff available to an outside, utility, I wouldn't hesitate. Wouldn't
It's
even
our
hesitate.
stuff, I mean, I don't know, I'm not really worried about providing laboratory services for private individuals and stuff.
I will talk to them again, but that's as early as last month, that was the conversation I had with them.
Okay, that's all I have.
We'd also, the Ulster County Health Department we do almost all their samples. That would be, they can find someplace else too, but that's,
Yeah. No, we did 54 between them and the sewer plant, right?
but you, so far this year, correct, this year to date?
No, that's just in April. Apparently it was pretty big, because that's half of what we've
That's-
done
that-
year to date.
Right, because they're starting to gear up now. You'll see June, July and August, we do a ton for them because that's when they have all the camps.
Yeah, sure.
We do all the temporary, what do they call them?
Temporary residents.
Yeah, with the non-potable, non-community.
No, non-community,
Transient, yeah.
non-transient, non-community waters.
Right. We do a lot of those for them. Do a lot of the restaurants in the area. We do almost all the public water supplies except for 3 in the area.
No, maybe if you're doing this, you can look at, we need to raise our rates plus.
We're pretty, he looks at that all the time, I think. And I think we're on a par with Tony Falco and Smith Labs, our 2 biggest competitors. I think our costs are the same. We do look at that price point. And we'll continue to look at it. Well, you do.
Yeah,
You do.
sure. Absolutely.
There are other options, there certainly are.
I'll make a motion that the superintendent's report be accepted.
Ray,
Second.
Dennis, superintendent report, read, filed, and accepted. Carried. Executive session, anybody have anything in executive?
Just have one item. Won't take long.
Okay.
I'm moving going to
Right.
executive session.
Okay,
I'll second that.
second by Dennis. Okay.
Good.
Mr. Croswell, how you doing?
Good, Mr. Shabbat, how are you?
I'm doing very good. Have a seat. Boy, I timed this perfectly.
Yeah.
You timed it. You're getting to be good, man.
Are we adjourned?
I don't know. Let's,
About the.
we can be if we have a couple of people.
You want to make the motion now to adjourn?
Yes, I do. My final motion.
Now,
Ray, I'll second if Ray doesn't want to second.
I'll second.
Dennis, Ray, second.
We'll get us both.
Word down.
All in favor?